Welcome to Soul of Business. I'm your host, Erica Edwards, here on Business Takeout, where the leaders come to teach us how to do. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you're someone who's already in business or considering getting into business, this is where we drop some gems, give you the real deal and some lowdown from people who have walked the walk and now are here to talk the talk. So this week, my guest is the amazing Nakimbe. Welcome, Nakimbe, and thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. We've been kind of talking behind the scenes back and forth, and we're just really glad to be here speaking to each other. Nakimbe is also another person that I have met via social media. I am a very, very strong believer in the networking power of these platforms and the amazing people you can meet. So in terms of support and cheering people on and encouragement, Nakimbe has been one of those people that has been clapping for me behind the scenes. And I just want to say, as we start, thank you so much for being who you are. And thank you so much for reinforcing me with your actions, your words, your comments, your shares. Thank you, Nakimbe.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. I wasn't expecting that. You're welcome, Erica. It's my pleasure. I think that people should support people, but I think especially Black sisters need to support Black sisters. So
that's right. And I have a really wonderful positive circle, and I really wanted to thank you. So if you're taking notes, there's the first gem. Support each other. We have to support one another. You would be so surprised at how far a like, a comment, a share, congratulations will go to encouraging someone in their business as they go forward. So welcome, Nakimbe. Welcome. Thank you for coming. So let's start at the beginning and let everyone know who you are and what you do for business, because what you do is a lot. So let's start out with your business.
Okay, yeah. So my business is Maptum International Marketing Corporation, and we're a digital marketing and mobile application development company. So that's the official spiel of it. Digital marketing and helping people to get online and embrace the digital revolution and use technology that's going to help them increase their business. That's what I do.
That's what you do. And how long have you been doing this? How long has Maptum existed?
Since 2012. It actually started out as a mobile application development company. That's where how there's the blue M and then the orange APP and then the DOM. So it actually stands for Mobile Application Domination. And just in case Nikki or Damien Zamora is watching this, they helped me get that name. So that's what it stands for. And yeah, we've been around for about 12 years. But when I was coming to small businesses and saying, hey, you guys need to embrace the digital revolution and, leverage digital technologies to help your marketing improve and stuff like that, they were kind of like, no, well, I don't know why I need a mobile app. It's so expensive. But I'd come from corporate, and that's where they were moving towards. They were moving away from social media because they figured the efficacy was going down. And so I was like coming from the mountaintops, trying to tell small businesses to do the same. But they're like, well, we kind of need social media help, and we kind of need content creation. We kind of need a video. So I was like, I got to go, where the demand is. So we pivoted way back then. Yeah. And so now we focus mainly on that, but we still do develop mobile apps.
Okay, so just to clarify, so in 2012, you actually started out as a mobile app development company, right? So you were looking to tell small businesses, this is the wave of the future, but there was resistance, as there often is in new things. Yeah. And so you pivoted with the demand. So people were telling you what they wanted, and instead of keep telling them, no, this is what you need, you shifted.
Right. Right. And when you do that, you can develop their trust, build a relationship, and then you can be like, you know what? Well, we're doing well with this method right now. Why don't you, I want to introduce you to something else that might take your business to the next level. So that's kind of been the approach.
Okay, so I think, guys, for our audience out there, I think we just got our second gem from Nakimbe, and that is you've got to listen to your clients and shift to their needs. And once you build their trust, you can actually then tell them, yeah, what I was telling you before, now you can listen to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you pivot, Nakimbe? How do you start out a business with this idea? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. You do your graphics, you have your spiel, you sit down for countless hours mapping everything out. You go, you launch it, and people say, that isn't what I want.
Right.
How do you shift from that?
Well, you know what? With my first client, what I did was, so I offered him a mobile app, but he also wanted social media. So I bundled it. It's kind of like when you're giving kids medicine and you hide it in like some syrup or something like that. It's kind of like that. And then once I had established a track record of success helping him with his social media, then I was able to go and say to other people, well, hey, look what we were able to do for this client. We can do it for you too. So that's one of the things. I mean, since you wanted to drop gems and stuff, I think that it's important for small businesses to offer value at first instead of always trying to, for me, I call it the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am approach, where it's like, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. That doesn't work. You have to really engage them and court them and find out what they like and then give it to them and seduce them and make them kind of be like pull marketing, where it's like, you know what? I think I want to buy from them. Just like the guy who you're like, who's always on you. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to give so-and-so a try. It's like the same kind of thing, right? So, people always want to like, I will talk your ear off forever, but I'll tell you. Yeah, like you got me started, but I'll tell you a piece of advice I got from a guy when I was starting in another business a long time ago, back in 2006. I had a look good, feel good, have fun directory for Toronto. And I went to redtag.ca and I'm like, hey, do you guys want to advertise in my, and I'm just like this little kid and he's like this established business person, right? And he's like, well, yeah, I want to advertise in your directory, but I don't want to pay anything for it. And I'm like, what? He goes, no, I want it for free. And I'm like, why? And then he was just like,
I like that. Why?
He's like, look, kid, let me tell you something. You got to prove yourself. You want my money. You're telling me your directory is going to make money, but you got to prove yourself. And let me tell you something. Early on in business, you got to suck salt. And I resented him. I left that place all mad, but I was just like, you know what? In every circumstance in life, you really sort of do have to pay your dues first. And so, at MAP, we offer a lot of free evaluations and, strategy and stuff like that. And once we've proven our value, then maybe you'll want to buy with us. And 99.9% of the times that happens. So that's one of the things I would say to small businesses is gain people's trust. Stop just asking them for their money. Stop selling and shoving your service and product down their throat.
Gain trust, pay your dues, prove yourself. And something else you said a few minutes ago about, having to kind of suck salt. I think that might be a Caribbean saying, but I'm pretty sure it is. And here's a confession, guys. I'm totally going to go off the rails here. But when I was young, my mom used to say that so much that I cannot lie. As a small child, I actually tried it. And there's a reason they say that. It's awful. Don't want to do it. I swear. But, about the sucking salt, especially I feel as a service provider, when you have a good, it's almost a clear exchange. It's like, look, I have this for sale. Do you, it's the best, it's the nicest, my pricing's good and people will buy it. I mean, branding and marketing is really important with goods as well. But I find that in service, it's double that. You've got to prove to these people they should let you do this service for them. I feel that there's even more pressure on businesses that provide services to show and prove, like really show and prove.
Well, because you're offering an intangible product that you can't always quantify with results, right? I can say that these guys had this many followers and this much money, and then after our campaign, they had this. But, what do you, as a service provider, it's not always that easy. And so this is a good thing. Oh my God, I'm so excited you invited me on the show because I have so much to tell. I love Storytelling is super important. I think that if you can't always, sell your service and sort of the tangible results, I think storytelling is really important. It's like one of the things we do at Mapdom when we're trying to develop a marketing campaign is we don't just ask you what your services and products are. We try to get to the core of your business and the emotion and the essence and why you started your business. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? Why are you suffering through this journey called entrepreneurship? Why the hell are you doing it?
Why are you doing this to yourself?
It's not just to make money. There's a passion, there's a drive. And once we can excavate that sort of from a business. We sort of make that the background and the context upon which we build someone's marketing campaign. And that's what differentiates my companies from others. And if you're a service provider and you can do the same thing, you may be selling an intangible product, but you can give people tingly feelings. You can still make them feel something with a story or your passion or, you know, why you started this. Like I worked with a fashion designer in Toronto and, you know, we weren't selling her brand. And I asked her, well, my initial intention wasn't to sell her brand. It was to sell the story. And I said, well, what made you get into this? And she said, well, you know what? My mom was a seamstress back home in Jamaica. And when I would see what she would do for people that didn't have a lot of money, and when they put these garments on, how they transformed and how this piece of garment was able to bring them such joy, I wanted to become a fashion designer. And that's what we market, that goosebumpy feeling, right?
Mm.
I have another, that's what you got to do if you have a service and it's not tangible. There was another lady in Toronto and she's a dietitian or a nutritionist. And it was kind of hard to sell her product. I asked her the same thing. Why did you get into this? And she goes, you know what? My mother had diabetes. And as she's telling me the story, she's getting really emotional. She goes, my mother had diabetes and we almost lost her. And it was the scariest thing ever. And I wanted to make sure that no family went through this because it is preventable with education. I'm like, well, that's what the hell you sell. Stop selling that you're a dietitian and nutritionist, because how many of them are there online? What differentiates you? Like, don't even get me excited and passionate, but
well,
it's hard out there in these streets to market your business and to be successful. You have to differentiate yourself. You have to stand out from the crowd. And you're going to do that not just by selling your service and product. You're going to do it by connecting emotionally with people. And I think after this whole COVID experience, we're seeing how important that is and how much good effect it can have.
Nakimbe, I can only write so fast, eh?
Oh,
you're over there dropping. I'm like trying to keep up, and this lady is going. And that, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, that is what the soul of business is about. Yeah. As an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is not rated E for everyone. It really is not for everyone. And if you're going to do this, you got to love what you're doing, because there's so much stuff you're going to absolutely hate. It doesn't matter how much you love what you do. You could be an artist, you can be a designer and love to design. There's the sales, there's the marketing, there's the pricing. There are always aspects to business that you won't like. But if you lead with love, if you lead with passion, it could sound as tacky as you want, but it's not. And that's why I invited Nakimbe here, because if you look at all the guests that have been there, entrepreneurs love what they do. They love what they do. They do it for free. They prefer it because they want to eat, but they would often do what they're doing for no money at all. So if you're out there and you've thought of a way to make money, and passive income is awesome, but when you're talking about dedicating your time, find something you love, or it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
It hurts when you love it.
It hurts when you love it, right? Like a marriage or something. It hurts when you love it. You know?
And you know what? It is a marriage. It's a relationship that takes over your whole life. It can sometimes, take over your marriage, take over your parenting. So you really, really need to love it. So Nakimbe, as we're here, and we're trying to give those who are starting out some information, maybe a few things they didn't think about before. And one of the things is, if I knew now what I knew then, I want to make this like a segment on the show. We got the banking. We got to put like a little, intro to that. If I knew now what I knew then, because we all have those. So here we are 8 years later, 2020, the world's upside down. But 2012, there's the Nakimbe of 2012. She's all, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, put it out with Mapdom. What would you tell her now? What would you take her aside and say, come here, let me talk to you? What would you tell her?
Okay, well, oh Lord. I would say, look, honey, it is not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. And I mean, Erica, I've come across people in businesses that want to sell like subscription programs or whatever. And, their monthly, they need like $3,000 to $5,000 in the month. They're like, oh, I just need this many people to sign up for my program at $97 a month or $47 a month, and I'll be set. And it's like, no, there's an average drop off rate for those subscriptions. Usually after 4.5 months, people drop off and it's way harder. So I think I would say, honey, look, it's not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. That's the first thing. The other thing, well, not even that, because I think everybody knows going into entrepreneurship that it's going to be difficult. But I'm like, on your most difficult day or on your first couple of difficult days, it's going to get 1,000 times more difficult. Like, you know, when you run into your first entrepreneurial, like, holy F moment, and then you're like, whoa. And then other stuff starts coming at you, but it sort of builds your strength. Like going to the gym, it's like, you can't do that last one, but then the next time you do it, you build your strength. So yeah, honey, it's not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. And on your hardest day, like the first couple of times, it's going to get 1,000 times worse. That would have been good to know, because I think I had a lot of, I don't know, it wasn't doubt or something, but you're just like, is it worth it? That's what it was. It wasn't, can I do this? But is it worth it? Like, it's like trying to get the business, then trying to keep the business, and then do good business, and then customer service, and then dealing with complaints, and then it's a lot. So you have to understand that going in. I would also say that the rewards are amazing. Like, you know, there are times I used to work 18 hours a day, but then if I wanted to go take a stroll down by the waterfront at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday, I could do that. And there was no boss telling me nothing, you know, so it has its rewards. It's absolutely amazing. And then I think the third thing would be kind of with the whole suck salt idea. I think really reduce your expenses. So this was my biggest learning. I think there was 1 year, because I was a project manager making really nice money. And so I'd basically live off half the money and then save the money. And then for the next year, I'd be like, I'm working on my business. I have all this money saved. I'm going to work on my business. But like I said, it's never that easy, and it never goes as smoothly as you think it's going to be. And I didn't reduce my expenses. I was living just the way I was living before. And then business didn't go the way I wanted it to go at the end of the money. And then it's like, oh no, I got to go get a job or something. Right. So then the next time that happened, I was like, no, I reduced my expenses. I was living at like a swanky condo downtown Toronto for like $1,750. And then I was just like, no. I mean, just even trying to make the money to pay that was stressful on top of paying other people. So reduce your expenses. Mark Cuban from Shark Tank, I think owner of the Mavericks or something, he had said he slept on his friend's couch for like a few months or something like that. And for me, just, you know, living back at home or whatever, reducing my expenses, reducing my stress has really allowed me to just relax in my business. So if you can reduce your expenses, don't do that. I think we still try to keep up with the Joneses or act like we're all fancy and we're making a lot of money, and you know, we're paying a lot of money to go to events that don't bring you any money.
No, listen, that's another show, eh?
Tell me, you know, I would get so mad. Like, you know, people don't see me at certain events. It's like, yo, like, here's the thing. I study numbers, right? So people can post, and we all know social media doesn't just happen by accident. Anything that's posted, you deliberately posting, you are creating your own narrative and you're controlling it, right? So you can try to act all as fancy as you want to act. But when you look at the numbers, you know, when you go to Stats Can or Revenue Can or whatever, and you see what small businesses are making, you know that 85% of people aren't making money, or people are only making like $25,000 in their business. So, you know, statistically speaking, I know you're not making the money that you're trying to front online like you're making. So you can try to fool me online all you want, but that is not feeding your kids and building a legacy of wealth, right? So
absolutely.
Afton used to be called tough love marketing, because I'm tough, because I'm like, it doesn't really matter if you like me. I mean, I like you, like me, but what's more important is that you make the money and you create a generation and legacy of wealth, especially for our people, Like, you can make your money and pay your rent and all that stuff. That's great. But I want to be getting on the level of investments and real estate and, like, you know, be with the big players so that our children and our children's children, and that's an actuality in my life right now, can benefit from that. So you got to stop fronting and start really doing what you need to do to be successful in your business.
Absolutely. There was a question here. It said, what did the F stand for? If you could clarify that, because I'm not sure what you meant by that. And one of our viewers in California, Nakimbe, was saying, thank you. He is over there taking notes, because you are definitely dropping the gems. So for those of you who may have come in late, We have Nakimbe with us from Mapdom. She started out 8 years ago as a mobile app developer and is shifted along with bringing the original with her to digital marketing. And some of the things that we've gone over so far is, number one, we started out with support each other. We have to support one another. It costs you nothing to support somebody else's business. There's enough pie, cake, hardo bread, everything for all of us. We can all eat, support each other. Listen to your clients, shift to their needs, gain their trust, pay your dues, eat dirt. It's going to happen. If you go in there thinking you are just too good to have to go through any trials and tribulations, get out now, get a job. You'll be better off. Storytelling is so important. You got to tell your story. There's billions of us. And because of that, there's kind of like millions of us doing the same thing. And so you need to stand out. And the real connection isn't great pics, professional pictures, you're so pretty. It's telling and sharing your story. The real thing, the goosebump thing that Nakimbe was saying, the thing that holds your stomach, and people are going to dislike you anyway, so you might as well dislike you for the truth. Passion sells. You've got to connect with people and reduce your expenses where you can, as soon as you can, because the rainy days are coming and they're kind of typhoony. So you might want to prep a bit. How did I do it, Kimbe?
Excellent. I thought you said I was talking too fast and you couldn't take notes.
I'm writing so quickly. So you talked a bit about what you would tell 2012 you going in. Now, what would you, one of the things we said when we were talking before is that not necessarily that you do things differently because that's what brought you to where you were, but can you think of a mistake, something you did that honestly, if you could have sidestepped that puddle, you would have sidestepped it?
Oh gosh. You know what? I there's nothing that I can think of off the top of my head, but I will. Oh my gosh, I'm like, should I really tell this story? I'm like, yeah, I know that's, but I will tell you about a time that gave me a moment to pause. Okay, so, oh gosh, yeah, okay, so I'm a Black woman, and when I was selling mobile apps, I was recruiting people to, like, sales agents basically, to also sell mobile apps, and I had just started, right? And so one of the people that I recruited was an older gentleman. He was in his mid 50s and he was checking out my company. So he went on YouTube and he saw a couple of my videos. Now, like, you just got to think about this dynamic, Black woman, white man, right? Okay. So he's like, yeah, I've seen a couple of your videos and you're a bit brash. I was like, oh my God, like, whoa, I'm like, what? I'm like, really? And he goes, it's okay and everything like that. He goes, but I did notice that. And like I said, it gave me a moment to pause. And I had to think, well, to some people, your passion does come across as brash, and just accept that. Whether or not I agree or my feelings are hurt, if this is someone's perspective, it may be other people's perspective. And that's all that matters. And at that time, I had to make a decision. I'm like, okay, you can change your whole personality and do or be who you think you do, what you have to do, or be who you think you have to be to not come across as brash, or to get business, or you're not going to get business and no one's going to do business with you. What are you going to do? And I thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to be able to fake it for a long time. Some situation's going to come up and like the real Nakimbe is going to come out and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, where did this come from? And I'm going to look even worse. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to incorporate this as part of my branding. Like, this is a part of it. It's like tough love. It's like, I'm going to cuss, I'm going to do this. And it's like, but I'm in it for you and your business. Right. So that was a moment of pause for me, I would say, when I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I finally sort of went public, and you're inviting people into your world, and this is how you're looking, and this is how you're coming across. What are you going to do about it? And I was like, well, inauthenticity does not work and it's not sustainable. So I was like, well, I'm not the only marketing agency out there. You do not actually have to work with me. And there are some clients that weren't also a good fit, right? They might have brought a little bit more stress than I wanted in my life or whatever. So, it also is like a partnership. It's a long time marketing partnership. And if we don't get along or whatever, if there's not, someone else to work with, it doesn't make sense trying to like put a square peg in a round hole kind of thing. So it's just, so, and I've worked it into my business, I think, quite masterfully, because some people don't actually like being controversy is always good for business. So, but it's all marketing. It's really all marketing. And so, yeah, but that was a moment. So when you say, what there was a mistake, there isn't one that I can think of, but that was one time when I felt, oh yeah, you made a mistake here. You shouldn't have said that way or whatever.
You're just being yourself. And Jessie Small, thank you for the shout out. You're very welcome. We are here bringing our best. And, that's why Nakimbe's here. That's why I'm here, because we're real, we're actual people, and we're willing to share. We're willing to share what we've done to get to this point. And like you said, the funny thing is that this point is not necessarily that high. Like you said, social media has this way. There are people on social media, they're fronting like big time, sitting in front of like, backdrops, pretending they're on jets. You've got the extremists, but then, people are selective about what they share. Now, I have gotten congratulations and people sent me messages going, congratulations on your success. And I'll actually go Google and I'm like, did something happen I don't know about? Because I know I'm looking for money to pay some basics.
Right.
Yes. Like, what are you talking? But
I think if more of us say the truth, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. I mean, I know some top internet marketers that are saying that it's rough out there. I mean, are you kidding me? It's rough out there.
It's rough. I mean, Nakimbe, I mean, if you want me to stop, just do this. Just call me off. But we were having a conversation before this one, and we talked about like the rough times, like the super rough times, where
that's fine.
Should be paid are not paid. Yeah. And you're in trouble. Like straight up. You're an adult who's in trouble. Yeah. And you're still trying to keep going forward. So absolutely. Again, a little summary of the last bit that Nakimbe gave. And I really love what you shared about, someone giving you feedback and you stepping back and going, wait a minute, mate, am I? And that's the number one. She said that before, but she said it again. Listen to your clients. Listen to the feedback. Listen to the good feedback. Listen to the negative response. Listen, because there often is truth in it. You might not like it, but it's good to be aware of how you come across. And then she followed up with be yourself, because, you're rude, you're loud, you're brash, you're ghetto, you're bougie, whatever. This is me. And at least I can sustain it, because this is a real gem. Inauthenticity is not sustainable. You can front for so long. And some of our biggest celebrities that are doing their biggest fronting, they have whole teams of people that are employed to help them keep up the front. Yeah. You can't do it on your own.
You and I are doing it, right? We have our businesses and we're managing our social media, and we know it's hella hard, right? So yeah, they have to have teams.
They have a whole team to maintain the facade, right? Yeah. And then not all business, and this was a really good one. And Nakimbe, I don't even know if you meant to say it the way you did, but this is another gem for you all. Not all business is your business. You don't have to work with everybody. When you're starting out, let's be honest, we're friggin' starving. Forget hungry, forget thirsty, you're starving. You want to get all the business you can, but especially in the service industry, leave some people alone, eh? They're going to bring you to a place you don't want to be, and you will work too hard for the money that they're going to pay you. It's going to cost you way more. So not all business is your business. So Nakimbe, before we wrap up and we go and you tell us how to find you, you tell us how we can connect with you to get some of your services, we got to talk about the soul part of business. One of the things that all the entrepreneurs that I've spoken to on this show, they all have something that truly moves them, and it's not money. Interestingly enough, the most successful people in business, their motivation, the reason they do what they do often isn't primarily, don't get it twisted though, it is not primarily
Did you freeze, Erica, honey? I can't hear you right now. Our show's too hot. We're shutting down the computer. Is that what's happening?
I'm thinking we're going to end.
Okay.
So thank you so much. 1 second here.
Do we lose